All right, welcome everybody to the Appalachian Brewing Company podcast. It's sort of a special episode here. Mike Parker, joined by the brewmaster, Artie Tafoya. How you doing today, Artie?
Doing great, Mike.
All right, I say special episode because we're not on the road, but there's a lot of people that came on the road to be part of this particular show today because we got a special event brewing here at ABC.
Yeah, that's right, Mike. Today we have the Winter Warmer Fest. It's a great little festival. You know, this is a perfect time of year to get everybody together, get the brewers together, about 15 breweries here today, and we're going to taste some great beers. You know, each brewery has 2 to 3 beers, and so we're looking at, 45 beers, little samples, but you should get a chance to get a taste of just about probably 20 or 30 different beer styles.
Interesting, as we talk here, it's actually a leap year. So this is the only time possibly that the Winter Warmer Festival, which is now only in its second year, but it's actually happening on February 29th. So.
Yeah, that's unusual. Yeah, the date, I don't know if it'll fall on that date again anytime soon, but what I can tell you is that I went to a birthday party the other night for a woman who was 84 years old. And it was her 21st birthday because she missed her birthdays every other leap year. She's one of my best friend's mom, and we just had a great time with her for her 21st.
Cool. All right. So the setting here is the second floor of the Harrisburg Brew Pub. This is the Abbey Bar area. Great for special events. You know, if you want to look at this space, is kind of to describe it, it's just sort of flows with that old industrial, I guess what used to be so many different places, this facility, but a lot of brick, a lot of big wooden beams, and just a really cool setting for any special event. So we'll be bringing up some folks here and finding out about their breweries and the brews that they brought along to share with everybody here today at the Winter Warmer Fest. But first things first, Artie, I'll say cheers to you with an empty glass because we're going to fill it with something special that you've been working on. What do we have here?
Yeah, I'm not sure if you were aware of this, Mike, but we have a distilled spirits packaging license over in our Mechanicsburg location. Pretty cool new thing for us. It allows us to do all sorts of unique cocktails that can either be canned or on draft. We're doing it not only for we're just starting with our company. I mean, it's pretty new for us, but we're also looking at doing some other products for some other companies out there. And it's been growing great. It's keeping our bottling plant busy. So it's been great. So one of the things, Rod Hunzinger, he's our flavorist, he helped us put together is a sweet tea old fashioned. So it's going to be, our 5-year bourbon. With its sweet tea base, and just we used a really nice tea. Cheers! Give it a shot.
All right. Wow. And there's alcohol in that?
Isn't that smooth? Yeah.
That is super.
Yeah, you get a little bit of the bourbon burn at the end, of course, what you want in a drink. But other than that, it's got that little bit of honey in it, little sweetness, and just a great cocktail. We're also talking about doing it with a smoked glass. I don't know if you've seen that, the smoked infused drinks. You smoke the glass up a little bit and then you mix the drink in it, and it really gives it a wonderful smoky bourbon flavor.
I have heard of that, and so I'm admittedly not one of the biggest spirits guys. Like,
right.
Now don't get me wrong. I like a good mixed drink. I love a Moscow Mule. I've just probably I've been to the Caribbean a few times, and you sort of, we were just joking about it the other day. We have a friend who's going on a cruise, and I'm like, so you're going over to like somewhere where they serve rum drinks all the time. And then when you come home, you're like, I got to go to the liquor store and buy a bottle of rum to keep the party going.
Yeah,
you know
right.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then you eventually tire of it, right? But I could see this becoming a sort of a regular part of the repertoire. This is delicious.
No doubt. We're both beer guys, Mike. We're always going to be beer guys. But playing around with some of these other things now, it's created a little more fun in our jobs a little bit, in terms of you being able to talk about it and me being able to develop and put things together.
All right, so bottom line, if you come into one of the ABC locations and you want to have a mixed drink or something special, you're using the Appalachian craft spirits these days.
You bet. All of our spirits are available at each of our locations. We also have other spirits available if you drink something else that isn't in our repertoire, you can definitely get that at most of our locations. And every drink, just like a regular place would have, but ours is ABC.
All right. Anything else on the horizon as far as this stuff goes? Do you have any other flavors that you're playing with, or you're just sort of on the wish list that you'd like to add? We got the sweet tea, that's down.
Yep. Well, we're doing a lot of things. We got seltzers coming along that we're going to be doing some on-tap seltzers. There's some other things that we're working on, and I don't want to let the cat out of the bag too early, but all sorts of good things. Our sour program's going so great. And I did want to tell you, Mike, that just as of just a couple weeks ago, I changed my position with the company. I'm now going to be the Chief Operations Officer for the company.
Okay.
We hired a brand new brewmaster. His name's Bruce Tanner. Bruce has been brewing in the area for a while, and he's been brewing also throughout the country in Arizona and all over. Great guy, and also Cliff Plank came over to our brewery as well. So we got two new great brewers, and I think you're going to see a lot of great things on the horizon there too.
All right, you'll always be my brewmaster.
That's all right, Mike. You can call me anything you want. Just don't call me late for a beer.
Isn't the president's always Mr. President, right?
That's right. Well, you can call me whatever you want, but yeah, that's fine.
All right, Artie. Well, for today, we're going to call you the host with the most because that's what we've got. We've got a big festival happening at ABC Harrisburg. It's the second Winter Warmer Beer Festival, and we'll be right back. All right, and we're back, and we got our first guest with us, and we are going to talk to some of the brewers and some of the visiting, breweries that have come here to the Winter Warmer Fest this year. But Steph Dodge is with us. Steph, how are you?
I'm good, Mike. How are you?
All right, so Steph, what I wanted to explain to you, because I know you're so busy, you probably don't listen to the podcast. It's kind of a deep tracks type of thing here. You got to look for it,
yes.
on the website, but it's there. So we've been doing it for a few months, and like one of the things that we always bring in members of the ABC family, so we bring in brewers, the chef. We even brought in the accountant one time, but we have some great stories, and of course Artie. So I thought we'd bring in Steph, because you're just one of these constant faces. I think my wife and I are here today for the festival. We've been coming here 20 years or so. I think you've been here pretty much from the beginning.
Almost. We opened in '97, and I started here in 2000.
Mm-hmm.
So I've definitely been here for 19 years, and I have been here for all of the brew fests.
So that's a good thing that you brought that up, because Winter Warmer Festival, it's not like this is the second time that Appalachian Brewing Company's dabbled in beer festivals. There was the Capital City Invitational Beer Festival for basically the first 20 years.
Yes. When we originally started doing the beer festival, it was very large. We had, on average, anywhere in between 30, 35 breweries. Mm-hmm. We would shut down the restaurant for the entire day.
Both floors.
And we actually did 3 sessions. So there was an early session, an afternoon session, and then a get ready to go out for the evening session.
Yeah, I know. No, it was, and like those were, I don't want to say the good old days, but like the only time I always liked it because it always fell around my birthday weekend, around like the second week of September.
Yes.
So, except for like a handful of times where somebody would do something silly like get married or something, and I had to go to their wedding. You know what I mean? We were always at the beer fest. It's something we looked forward to. It was always kind of like a big part of my birthday weekend, and made it easy on my wife. Never had to really buy me a present because she knew what I wanted.
Well, there you go. Yeah.
So tell me, from the last year you guys started doing this, said, hey, there's actually sort of a void, and I think people are ready for a beer festival around the end of February?
Yeah, because there are so many breweries now and so many brew fests. When we first started out, brew fests were fairly rare, and there weren't a lot of them. But as more breweries have popped up, there's definitely been a rise in the amount of beer fests. So we decided to move ours and when everyone's kind of getting the winter blues, end of February, there's not a lot going on. We decided to scale it back, make it a little more smaller, a little more intimate of a beer fest. Just change it to give people something to do at the end of the winter.
All right, so what can you preview here? We're going to bring some of the brewers up and chat with them for a couple of minutes, but who do you know, anything that's new or you're looking forward to, just seeing people set up here that you want to try?
Yes, well, I'm looking forward to. We actually made a mango sour, the Mangalorean, and I'm very excited to try that because we're debuting it at the fest for the VIP session. I am also very excited. Clips Brewing Company is here, and they're from Sunbury, Pennsylvania, and that is where I grew up, from the town next to it, Northumberland. So I'm very excited to see them here. And then we also have Clarion River Brewing, which they're from out Clarion Way, Brew Erie from up in Erie. So you don't see those guys a lot of times at Brewfests. So I'm very excited to try their beers as well.
All right, very good. So if we want to see Steph Dodge, you're going to be hanging behind one of the bars here
Yes,
today?
I'll be hanging out behind the bars, making sure people get some food, and just floating around, making sure everybody's having a good time and everybody's got what they need.
All right, everybody's got what they need. From my end, thank you for joining us, and we'll be right back. Okay, welcome back to the Appalachian Brewing Company podcast. We have our second guest here for the day at the Winter Warmer Festival, and we bring in our friend Matt Allen. And Matt, how are you?
Good, very good.
All right, Matt, a quick bio on you. I guess I'll start things off because I think someone said, hey, this is the guy that started Voodoo Brewery up in Crawford County, Meadville area back in the day.
Yes, Crawford County, Meadville. Meadville is the city seat for the county. Basically, it was an unknown beer town in northwestern Pennsylvania, so heck, why not start hard and try and figure out if you can make it work?
All right, so where does it go from there? So I know you're not currently you actually sold Voodoo, the Voodoo brand, right?
Yes, we actually did the smallest employee share program, ESOP, in the country, and basically I sold my majority shares to the employees, which is still maintained, as well as my partners maintain the other half of their minority share to the company. So
Okay.
the expansion goes from there, and everybody has their equal chance to be an owner.
That's really great. I've been to the Meadville Brew Pub a couple of times, traveling on business. So let me just my favorite. I try everything when I get there, whatever I can try that's on tap. But there's one called White Magic of the Sun.
Correct.
Is that your creation?
Yeah, that was, I had worked with Pierre Celis, which is famous for starting and resurrecting building Hogarden, as well as Celis Brewery in Texas. His daughter just reopened Celis Brewery in Texas, and he was one of my mentors. I worked with him, and basically he explained to me that Belgian white ale was whatever you wanted. You could use a variety of spices. He did what he did, but the Belgians are much more artisan, per se, and you could take the basis and put whatever you wanted. Peppercorn seemed to be interesting, coriander, orange peel, plus we did a variety of other spices just to kind of create something bigger on the 7.5% scale, as well as something very flavorful. Something that really went with like fish and fowl more than
Right.
just a wheat beer.
Well, it's perfect if you ask me. It's my favorite Voodoo beer, but I'm gonna have to try more, maybe because I've always that's what makes it fun, you know.
When you start talking to a chef, it's usually the first beer they pick out of the lineup because
Nice.
they want to cook with it.
Yeah, awesome. All right, so from there, where did you go, and what are we doing now?
I mean, well, basically, it's my 28th year in the brewing industry, and I've had a consulting company for the majority of those years. And the last 3.5 years, I've been helping build and design a lot of breweries for people from Wyoming to Maine, working on different capacities. Plus, my experience spans from door to door, basically.
So what are you doing here today? Are you sampling beer? Are you working for somebody today? Or are you just sort of networking at a beer festival? I imagine it's a pretty good place to be for someone with your skills.
Well, I mean, basically, I've been a great fan and friend of Artie and Appalachian for a long time, and we have a great group of friends that we've known here for a long time. So we make this kind of a yearly trip. Mm-hmm. When I get beered out, and I do a lot of beer festivals, we still make it. This is the one that we go to. So we either come to the summer one, but we always come to the one in February. So.
Very good. So I'll ask you from somebody. You know, we're gonna get these other brewers up here and chat about their beers. But what do you see as a consultant? You know, where's the trend going now? Where are we sort of at, and where do you think we're going? What's the next hot item? And
Oh, picking the next hot item is not my forte. Otherwise, I'd have been a lot wealthier than I am now. But I mean, basically, I think quality control is going to come down to it. The breweries that really focus on paying attention to what's going into their facility and maintaining the quality control inside their facility. Everybody makes mistakes, but unfortunately not everybody understands that they do make mistakes. And a lot of people think that they're like the perfect husband. Unfortunately, the brewery does not make for a perfect companion, and it has its own personality. And if you overlook things and you become complacent, just like as a husband in a marriage, the next thing you know, that marriage runs away from you. And that is the brewing industry in a whole. You're dealing with living organisms that, when felt they're being not treated well, will revolt. And when you're not paying attention to that, that's going to be dictative to the product you're putting out. So I think what a lot of people are going to get to a certain point where there's going to be quality product that goes out, shelf life. The future of any company is going to be quality control, shelf life, and trying to fit into the trends, I guess. Because making the trend is not necessarily a long-term investment. Right. So creating the trend isn't exactly that, but the knowledge in which to be able to adapt to that trend is really what's going to carry through as long as you have a clean output product.
Okay, and I think you said it, because there's a lot of entrepreneurs and they have bright ideas and big dreams. It's also a tough business, and so the strong will survive, the cream will rise to the top, as they always say, and quality control and consistency over the long term, as opposed to maybe being immediately trendy, is probably gonna be in your favor in the end. So.
I think, yeah, like I said, I think in the long term is we've won over the fact that we can, as craft brewers, produce a quality local pilsner, Mexican lager, which will attract people, as well as hazy IPAs, milkshake IPAs, things of that nature, which are really proving to the customer that we can come up and be progressive. But I think the long term is who's going to be able to make the better of that product consistently. And that is really comes down to mechanics and quality control.
All right, and it comes down to people being able to sample things, and it's great to have it all under one roof every once in a while, just like this place today.
The great thing to do is actually go to a festival and then see what everyone's wares are.
All right.
It saves you about $20 to $80 on a case of beer if you go to buy it at the distributor. So.
Absolutely. Even as progressive as Pennsylvania's, I say that with air quotes, but as Pennsylvania's alcohol laws have become over the past few years, it's easier than ever to sample a bottle somewhere without having to buy a case or anything like that, like we used to. But a beer festival is a great place to be. So thank you for being our guest today here at Appalachian, Matt.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Appreciate it.
All right, and here we are with another guest right now from a brewery here in the mid-state of Pennsylvania, down in York, PA. We're talking about Liquid Hero, and who is our guest joining us right now?
Barbato Arvonio. I'm a head bartender down at Liquid Hero in York.
Very cool. So who knows the beer better than the bartender, right?
That's right. We serve it every day. We should know.
All right, so let's run down. So you guys here, first-time participant at the Winter Warmer?
Yep, this is our first time, so we decided to come out here and give a couple offerings of our American Hero Amber Ale, our Clarification Juicy Session IPA, and for VIP members, we have our one-off beer, which is an oatmeal cookie stout.
Very cool. I can't wait to try them all. I actually, if I sample the entire time I'm doing the podcast will not get done.
It'll get a lot more interesting.
That's right. So let's talk about Liquid Hero. When did you guys fairly recent? Within the last how many years have you guys opened the doors?
We have now been open for 8.5 years. So it's still new for a small business, but it's still old enough to have our foot in the door and have a good stronghold in the community.
So new enough that people are still figuring out who you are, but yet for the people who have been there from the beginning, like an old friend.
That's correct.
All right. So is there something that defines Liquid Hero? Is there signature style?
So our signature style for our brewery is we're kind of like your Cheers brewery.
Okay.
We're your hometown people where really we get to know our customers' names. We talk with people. What we like to have a good vibe of sharing beer with people and just giving people a good offering, but also great conversation and things like that.
So all kinds of different styles, but do you have some flagship brands that you?
Yeah. Our one flagship brand that we have here today is our Clarification Juicy Session IPA. We have our Irregardless IPA. That's been around for quite many years. It's one of our flagships, along with our General Pilsner, our Shirtless Dictator. That's a Russian Imperial Stout.
Nice.
People love the name of that one.
Yeah, we all get the Putin image in the head.
Yeah, they're
very
riding a bear.
Right. That's great. All right, so where are you guys located in New York, if I want to look you up?
So we're right downtown on East North Street, right across from the Revolution Stadium, New York Revolution Stadium.
Oh yeah, all right. And can we find your stuff, in the cooler at like the grocery store these days? These guys are selling some bottled stuff or canned stuff.
Our distributor is Stockertown Beverage. We're distributed basically this whole half of the state, so all the way up towards Scranton. We have distribution in State College, Philadelphia, and mostly our distribution is around this area, so you'll be able to see us at bars, distributors, and your local grocery stores.
All right, Barbado, thank you so much from Liquid Hero Brewery in York. Pleasure to have you here. Look forward to trying your stuff, and we'll be right back on the Appalachian Brewing Company podcast. All right, and we continue right now with the podcast with our next guest. We have Aaron Eckert here from Union Barrel Works. How you doing, Aaron?
Good, thanks, Mike. Thanks for having me.
All right, so let's talk about it. Union Barrel Works. Where's the name come from? Where are you guys from?
Yeah, Union Barrel Works. We're 6 North Reamstown Road in Reading. It's actually just south of Reading. We're kind of directly between Lancaster and Reading. We're about 50 miles east here of Harrisburg. So short 40-minute drive out the turnpike, and you're right there at Union Barrel Works.
All right, it's craft brewery restaurant.
Yep, craft brewery restaurant. It's in an old warehouse building, 3-story warehouse. We occupy the first floor, open view to the brewing area. Full menu. We have entertainments on most Friday, Saturday nights. Good offerings of beers. They do some scratch stuff that comes on and off. We offer some local cider stuff as well. So
okay, all right. So you said no technical stuff I don't want to talk about yeast.
Yeah, right. I'm not the brewer, so I can't steal his thunder.
I totally get that. So let's just talk about. But let's talk. If I'm thinking Union Barrel Works,
sure.
What's for instance, Appalachian has Water Gap Wheat, Mountain Lager. What's sort of those base well-known beers for Union Barrel?
I think one of our biggest ones. People at the Beer Fest come around. We do the PA Ren Fair Beer Fest. People come out there looking for our Wobbly Bob. It's a dark Dunkel Doppelbock. It's a little higher ABU, but people are loving it. I mean, it's a dark, mellow beer, but it keeps bringing people back.
Gotcha. Wobbly Bob.
Wobbly Bob, yep. And that's on tap today at the Beer Fest here.
Oh, cool. So how many beers did you guys bring with?
We have 2 with us here, and then one for our VIP hour, which we'll probably be offering throughout the day. It's a sour beer with a hint of blueberry in it.
Nice. Yep. So, sours are a little, if you're strictly a sour brewery, that's right. You're kind of pigeonholing yourself, but there are some that are making their mark in that realm, but it's just sort of something you guys offer, and you find some success with that?
Yeah, like I said, one of the scratch series, just something that the brewer will brew up and offer for everyone else. So the sour one he came up with is a little something special here. Cool. I know he often does a chocolate peanut butter, something like that. I think we did a peanut butter and jelly stout that was on for a little while. Yeah. It comes on, comes off. People are looking for it, so we try and mix it up a little bit amongst our regular ones.
All right. So if you had to define, the brewery, are you guys American traditional? You talk about one of your flagships being a Dunkel. So is there more German influence? What do you think?
I'd say a good mix of both. Yeah, definitely we have a Union Pale Ale, so we kind of make that broad spectrum from like the old time base, like our Union Pale Ale, but keep up with all the IPAs and things like we have like that. Just cover the whole range of stuff. Same with our restaurant. We offer a full menu that's listed online. Follow us on Facebook, Union Barrel Works.
Nice.
Constantly changing up the menu, offering new food items and stuff to try and please everybody.
All right, well, I'm looking forward to trying your stuff. It's great to meet you, Aaron.
Thanks, Mike. I appreciate
Union
it.
Barrel Works. Next time you're in the Reading area, look them up, check them out, and we'll be right back. All right, and we're back here again with another guest, and this time we have Kurt from Eclipse Brewing in Sunbury. How you doing, Kurt?
Oh, very good.
Kurt, what's the last name?
Benner.
Kurt, thank you, Kurt Benner. I almost called you Brenner.
Huh?
Like Yul Brenner.
Well, we're both bald.
Come in here a little closer to the microphone just so we can make sure that we can hear you. But so Sunbury, man, great river town, right along the Susquehanna, just about an hour north of Harrisburg.
Right.
So a short trip for you guys today.
Short trip for us. It's I like this area. I actually was born at York Hospital, so I'm a little familiar with down here.
Well, I was born at Lewisburg, evangelical, so I was born up your way, and you were born down my way.
I still work at Evangelical.
Oh, nice.
Part-time.
Right, so you were, and we were talking about our ages. So there's no way that you delivered me, which is a good thing.
No.
It's just that would have been an awkward way to start the conversation, or an incredible way to start. All right, so Eclipse, how long you guys been around? Because Sunbury's not. I don't want to say that Sunbury was only sort of recently added to the brewing map, really, in central Pennsylvania, right?
Right. We started 1 year ago, November 1st.
Okay.
So we have more than a year in, and it's been going pretty good. The response is good. People like their craft beer.
Awesome. Sunbury, I actually grew up in Sunbury as a little kid. My mom worked at the hospital up there, and my dad was a steel worker in Harrisburg. And so we split the difference eventually and moved when I was about 11 in between Halifax. So I ended up in the Appalachian Mountains, right along the Appalachian Trail. But like the river's always been a connector because I have always had and continue to have friends up in Sunbury. So I'm familiar with town. Where about are you guys?
We're right downtown. We're near Cameron Park where the municipal building's at. We're only about a half block from the river.
Cool.
Right on the main street.
All right. So if you have a court date or something in Northumberland County,
that way you can get everything done, and then afterwards you can drink a beer. Either to celebrate or cry into.
All right. So, Kurt, are you the brewer? Or
I'm the brewer, sure.
All right. So, how'd you get? You start off as a home brewer? Did you work your way around? What happened?
Yeah, way back in the early '90s, we would home brew because we thought it'd be kind of cool to make our own beer.
Yeah.
And then maybe about probably 8 years ago or something, I decided, hey, it seems like you can make this a living. So I went to UC Davis out in near Sacramento, California, and got a professional brewer certificate. And I've been transitioning into becoming a full-time brewer.
Oh, you're legit. That's right, man. I mean, so a degree, that's something that's fairly new around this area. I mean, technical schools and things like that and science programs all have something they can lend. People come from those backgrounds to become brewers, but then now there's actual brewing, degrees essentially.
Degrees, yeah.
So anyway, so let's talk about your beer. What did you bring with us? What did you bring with you to share with us today?
Well, the one that you're going to be sampling is the Raspberry Honey Ale. We use fresh raspberries in it. I think it's pretty refreshing.
Delicious. Delicious. Thank you.
Another beer that we brought today is the Baby It's Cold Outside, and that's a winter warmer. It's a spice beer. I think I have nutmeg, cinnamon, and ginger in that one.
Oh my gosh! Maybe I should have had that enough.
Well,
I'll have them. Don't worry. I'll get around
try
to
the
it.
other one. And then later on at 3 o'clock, we're going to be putting on Loco Coco. So it's a chocolate beer made with cocoa.
Beautiful. All right, so the perfect type of beer for a winter warmer festival. People tend to trend a little bit darker in the winter. I don't know why that is, but here we are. It'll be spring before you know it, and we'll be going to something else. So I'm enjoying the Horny Prick.
Thorny.
Oh, thank you.
Thorny Prick.
Wow.
Yes.
Thorny
because
prick.
Raspberries have thorns and they prick your fingers. Very simple.
Makes a lot of
prick.
sense. And
Yes.
there's no double entendre in that either. Appreciate that.
Yes.
All right, Kurt. I appreciate you for joining us here today. You guys are in Sunbury, PA. Make sure you stop in. It's the county seat of
It's the
Northumberland
county seat, yes.
And find yourself a seat, I guess, if you stop by and visit Kurt and the guys at Eclipse.
And I'd also like to say that we're down here representing the River Rat Brew Trail, which is in like 5 counties in our area, and I think we're up to like 14 breweries.
Beautiful.
All within a couple miles of each other.
All right,
so
well,
it's starting to be a destination.
I find that to be a compliment. If someone were to call me a river rat, I grew up one. My kids are river rats. And again, thanks for joining us here today at the Winter Warmer Festival. And we'll be right back on the Appalachian Brewing Company podcast. All right, back once again here with our next guest. We've got Hannah Barnes, who's with Aldous Brewing Company, and you guys are located where, Hannah?
So we're in Hanover, Pennsylvania. That's kind of in between York and Gettysburg. We brew and have our tap room in the original Hanover Snyder Pretzel Factory.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So our pub is open Tuesday through Saturday from 3 to 11, and then on Saturdays from noon to 11.
Hanover is pretty cool town, actually. It's so we're talking like everybody thinks Gettysburg, but Hanover is actually where a lot of the action is happening too. Right?
Yeah, no, there's a lot of brewing companies opening there, and it's also, we like to call it the snack capital of the U.S. We've got a lot of different snack factories there. We've got Utz, Snyder's, Ouija, Campbell's.
Nice. So, and Aldous, where does the name come from? Is it?
Okay, so Aldous is actually a 15th century Venetian printer. You're probably wondering, what does that have to do with brewing?
That's
so
okay.
Our founder, he's really into history, and at that time, only the clergy and the wealthy could afford literature because it was so expensive.
Right.
So Aldous created the semicolon. He created italic font. That way, it would provide a smaller book, and then he was able to get it out to the masses. And so that's kind of our whole thing, is like, we're not trying to change the recipe or anything, but make a good quality product accessible to the masses.
Well, if he invented the semicolon, I'm a fan. I did not expect that in the answer. That's pretty cool. All right, so you guys are here at the Winter Warmer Festival this year, first time? Or did you? Yeah. Okay. So
this is our first time here.
Awesome. Well, thank you for joining us. I have the pleasure right now with you. So this is the VIP session where we get to, a lot of the brewers will bring something a little bit special, and I have the cherry sour.
Okay.
All right, I'm gonna give it a taste. Sours are, I'm a fan. So, and again, this is gonna be.
And so for all our sours, we like to use the traditional style. We barrel age for a little over a year and a half, and we use real fruit.
No, I'm picking it up. It's exactly what I want. Because I've had a lot of sours, and honestly, I have a pretty high. I'd say I have a good tolerance for them, but sometimes the sour tends to be a little bit more on the, I would say vinegary end.
Yeah, a little more pungent.
Yeah, and that's okay, because that's like, I mean, look, if someone's giving me a sour, I sort of know what I'm getting, right?
Yeah.
However, that sort of depends on how much of it I want to drink too. This is very drinkable. This is really good. So is this something that you guys would offer as sort of like a scratch type thing, or is this something you guys have on all the time?
Yeah, so this is a limited release. We are working on a few other sour projects, so in the I would say in the next few months we'll be releasing a plum sour as well.
Nice. Okay, so if I'm looking at Aldous Brewing Company, and what's the one? What's the flagship that everybody sort of knows you for? At least locally, the big fans are coming and check you out.
I would definitely have to say either our Jason Hates It IPA or our American Blonde Ale.
Okay, either one of those sounds good. And I saw the Jason Hates It, I think, is here today.
Yes, Jason Hates It is here today.
All right, very cool. Interesting name, interesting story behind that, or?
Yeah, so that's actually kind of a funny story. So our brewer really wanted to make an IPA, and our founder was just so against it. He didn't want to chase the trend of everybody else making IPAs. And so eventually our brewer was
Right.
like, come on, man, let me make this IPA. And our founder gave into it, and so then we thought, well, what's this going to be? It was only going to be a small batch, and we thought, well, why don't we call it Jason Hates It, because he hates the idea of us making it so much.
Yeah.
And he goes, yeah, call it whatever you want. We're never making this beer again. It's fine. The image for the beer is actually really funny. It's our Jason. He's making a horrible face, and he even used a bad camera because he was just trying to get it over with. And it's so funny because that actually became one of our flagship beers.
Right, and I'm sure at this point Jason has realized that IPAs aren't a trend, so
Yeah.
it's sort of a must-have, and
they're here to stay.
It's here to stay, and if you don't have one, it's not like you're being left behind, but you're sort of ignoring the fact that it's pretty much become one of the standard issue, craft brews at this point. So people are looking for them and they expect them.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much. Hey, it's been great talking to you, Hannah. Aldous Brewing Company, Hanover, Pennsylvania. Next time you're down in that section of York County, check them out.
Thank you.
Welcome. Okay, next brewer up is from the Bird's Nest Brewing Company. Is it Brewing Company or?
Brewing Company.
All right, Bird's Nest, BURDS, Nest Brewing Company, and Dave Hamilton joins us. How you doing?
Great. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. All right, so let's get into it. First of all, Bird's Nest. I heard of you guys recently because of a recent partnership with Appellation, but for people who are just getting to know you guys, where are you from?
We're down in Carlisle, right at the square, pretty much 19 North Hanover Street.
That's right.
Great little town, tons to do, a lot of walking distance, or a lot to do within walking distance. So we're going on being 2 years old on March 15th. So we'll have some anniversary shenanigans to get into. So
Very nice. Yeah, Carlisle. I used to spend a lot of time there in a previous life. Did some TV news reporting, and I covered Cumberland County for a while.
I thought you looked familiar.
Okay, yeah. It's that, or they're like, "Aren't you that guy from you used to date Jennifer Aniston?" Or whatever. And I was like, no, that's. But anyway,
Get that a lot, right?
Right. Actually, yeah. Carlisle has sort of kind of grown up as far as like things to do.
Absolutely.
It used to kind of be the place. I think I made this joke earlier because one of the guy from Eclipse in Sunbury, they're like right down the street from the courthouse. So the joke was like, you get a traffic ticket, you end up then come have a beer to either celebrate or to,
We get that too. We're right next to domestic relations. So.
Okay. But let's talk about what you guys. First of all, the partnership with ABC. There was sort of a collab beer recently.
Yep. So we partnered with you guys back in beginning of January. We brewed a double IPA called Goose Down. It came in at around 8%, 40 IBU. So very aromatic. There was over 3 pounds of hops per barrel.
Yeah.
Was really well received.
Yeah, it's a great beer. I had it before. It's something you should try, and I just don't know if the story of it is out there enough. So what's the meaning behind the name? What's the Goose Down, and what was the inspiration?
So Goose Down, obviously with it being winter, the down is what keeps the birds warm.
Right.
So
it's what we stuff our pillows with.
That's right. Yeah. So because it came in at 8% and was double IPA, that beer keep you warm all winter long. So
speaking of, going back, if you've been listening since the beginning of this podcast, Artie had some an old fashioned that he made here with one of the Appalachian craft spirits, the bourbon, and it's got me right on the lower forehead. I'm starting to feel that warm feeling.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
That's what the spirits will do to you.
Absolutely.
And then I've had a sour. From
which sour did you have?
This is it's the cherry sour from Aldous. They were just on it. It's pretty nice. But so what do you guys dabble in? What do you guys do? What do you do?
So,
what's the mainstream, and then what do you dabble in?
Right now, we're actually looking to kind of start doing either a gluten-removed beer, or seltzer. Seltzers are really popular. So with it becoming, kind of the end of winter, springtime, we want to kind of get our more refreshing beverages out on the line. Obviously we have IPAs that we brew. Try to have a good balance. We serve some wine and cider and some PA spirits as well. So, we just try to have something for everyone to like.
It's sort of that time of year. We are transitioning. A lot of things are transitioning. Winter sports for there's youth sports for us parents are now turning into spring sports, and it's the days are getting a little bit longer, and that allows for more time to have an after work you get together. It just doesn't seem as depressing anymore. When you leave work and you've missed all of the daylight out your window. Now we actually have a little bit of time to enjoy it. So enjoy it with a beverage.
Last night I got off and it was 6:30 or something. And I was like, hey, it's not
completely dark. If I was in the middle of a field with no trees, it would still be light out right now. But no, I get what you're saying. All right, well, it's awesome to meet you. If we want to learn more about Bird's Nest, where can I go?
You can come down to the brewery, again, 19 North Hanover Street in Carlisle, or you can visit us online, www.birdsnestbrewingco.com. And we're on social media, Facebook, Instagram. Check us out there as well.
All right, Dave. Thanks again for joining us. And we'll be right back here from the Winter Warmer Fest to wrap things up on the Appalachian Brewing Company podcast. All right, so I said we wrap things up, but I couldn't resist. I saw an old familiar face here during the VIP session as we were kicking off the Winter Warmer Beer Festival here at Appalachian Brewing Company. And it's a guy who used to, I worked with here. Mike Lindgren was a brewer from, I want to say, circa 2014 to 16 or so, in that range?
Yeah, I just actually saw a memory on Facebook that 6 years ago, on Monday, I started my internship as a professional brewer, and then they brought me on full-time. I was the brew pub's head brewer, so I managed all the locations and then helped out here in Harrisburg.
Very cool. So Mike Lindgren, joined by, you have a special guest here too.
Yes, it's my dad. We partnered to start this brewery. I call him Maxie-me, but he goes by Cliff to everybody else.
All right, so Cliff and Mike from the Lindgren Craft Brewery. And where are you guys? Because it's a new name for a lot of people, but a name worth checking out.
Yeah, so we are in Duncannon, about 15-20 minutes up the river from here in Harrisburg. We actually just bought a old Duncannon National Bank right beside the Doyle Hotel, which is a known building on the Appalachian Trail that we're working on renovating. We should be open by the end of the year. So right now we're a distribution brewery only. We hand bottle everything, and we're on tap at a couple places. So we're looking forward to having a place that people can come and visit us.
All right, so let's talk about you a little bit. Mike, Penn State guy?
Yes.
All right, Perry County guy and Penn State guy.
Yes.
All right, I know some of those. They always seem to be good guys, you know?
They are. I went for agribusiness. I started off in engineering school. My junior year, I dropped out because I wanted to start from the bottom, which is how I started working here. So much to the dismay of my father, dropping out of engineering school. It worked out though.
It didn't dismay me.
So Cliff, Mike says, yeah, I'm going to be an engineer and I'm going to, design bridges and across the world and make millions of dollars. And then one day he comes home and he says, you know what? I think I'd just rather make beer.
Well, actually, what he said is schooling wasn't for him, and he wanted to go someplace and start at the bottom and work his way up.
Okay.
And after about a year living at the bottom, he said, "This sucks, starting at the bottom." So he went back to school.
I did. I finished. I went for agribusiness.
Okay.
So.
All right. But what that did was,
I learned a ton.
Like most people, you bring it full circle. You got, as a brewing intern well, first of all, you were here at Appalachian during a really exciting time because we opened up the Mechanicsburg Brewery. So you were I remember you being one of the head guys on that system over there.
Yeah, I helped Artie install that, and I got to brew basically the first couple years there. They let me stay on part-time when I went back to school, so I kept brewing there.
All right, so now you've come back. You got the family name on a pint glass, and soon to be on a brew pub in your hometown. So this is pretty exciting. So Lindgren Craft Brewery, what are you guys going to be known for?
Well, we have really creative names.
Yeah.
We have I Love Mary Jane, which is named after my mother. Most people don't believe that. We have It's Beautiful and So Are You, which is a sweet potato pale ale. Doesn't taste like sweet potatoes.
Cool.
That's one of our big sellers.
But it's got the starch you need.
Yep.
Okay.
Claps in the Corner, which is our coffee and cream stout. We work with a local coffee roaster in Perry County on that one.
Nice.
And then what you're drinking is Back in the Day in a Hazy Way, which is, yes sir, brewed with the mayor of Duncannon. He had a birthday recently, so we sat down with him.
I wonder what happened to him.
Yeah.
Just alongside in cooperation with him.
He came out and he brewed it, and it's hazy, but it's hopped like a 1990s IPA. It has a lot of that Chinook, very piney. So we went back through our notes and hit most of what he wanted right on the head. We were very pleased with it.
This is not an IPA for the faint of heart. It's got the pininess. It's got that full hop flavor to it. It's good. But if I were to suggest someone sit down for a session of drinking, Lindgren craft brews, I'd say this one might want to be towards the end of that session because it's flavorful.
Yeah, it's a lingering because it leaves that hoppiness, that pininess on your mouth.
It's delicious, though. You guys have done a great job. Well, look, I'm excited to follow you on Facebook because I'm seeing some neat pictures that you're putting out of you guys like inside sort of like the old bank vault and stuff, because I don't think I've been to a brewery that's inside a bank. I've been inside a brewery that's inside a church, an old church. I've been inside one that, whatever, this place has been many different things over the years.
Yeah.
And a car dealership and everything like that too. You know, so breweries tend to find ways to repurpose, and if we can do that, and we can sort of make that part of the the culture of the craft brewing. Craft brewing is to take things and repurpose them and be responsible with our surroundings. Not always put up some brand new building. And you guys are going to revitalize Duncannon. I think that's probably important to you.
That's what we're hoping.
Yeah.
It's we have a lot of people. I think people underestimate Duncannon, and we're close enough to Harrisburg, Selinsgrove, but the people in Duncannon are ready for that revitalization to happen.
What about you, Cliff? When's the last time Duncannon's been hopping?
I can't even remember.
I think I just helped you guys with a new T-shirt, by the way. Duncannon is hopping again.
Yeah. Well, actually, with a couple of things we say is we're adventurously brewed in Duncannon, and Lindgren Craft Beer is going to make beer that made Duncannon famous again.
Very cool.
So,
all right. Well, it's great. Remember the name, Mike and Cliff Lindgren with the Lindgren Craft Brewery. Thank you guys so much for joining us here on the ABC Podcast.
Thanks for having
me. Thank you.
Okay, so not to make a liar of myself, I said we were going to wrap it up, and then I brought in another guest. So we're actually going to wrap it up right now here on the Appalachian Brewing Company podcast. And we're recording today at a great event. It's the Winter Warmer Beer Fest, the second time we've had this late February beer fest here at the brewery. So, we started things off with the old brewmaster, our good buddy, Artie Tafoya, and Artie name-dropped a couple of people at the beginning, and among those was Cliff Plank.
How you doing?
Cliff.
It's good to be here.
All right, so who are you? What's your new title? What's the position here at Appalachian?
Well, I'm Cliff. I actually was the brewmaster at Chatty Monks in Reading, starting back in 2016, and then actually moved to Tattered Flag in Middletown about the middle of last year until early this year whenever I came over to ABC.
All right, awesome. So we're just meeting for the first time, but I actually worked for the company too. I was the marketing director back in about 2013 to 2015.
Okay.
Long-time Mug Club member. So I have a history with the place, and the breweries that you're talking about, I've encountered them before. I visited Tattered Flag. It was a really neat to see something that came in and revitalized down,
absolutely
the square there on Middletown. I think there's another location, like a smaller spot in Hershey now.
Yes, that's for their distilled spirits.
Okay.
More centric around that.
But you see that name around. So anyway, it's great to have new blood in the brewery here.
Yeah, it's exciting.
So talk about Appalachian. It goes back. What do you know about Appalachian, and what are we? So you must be pretty excited to be here.
Really excited. Not only because this is it's a much bigger facility that I've ever actually worked on, but I'm not originally from this area. I moved down as an architect actually 6 years ago, and was really into the craft scene back then. And so, Artie was one of those people that you just knew who he was, whether or not you knew him personally. So he's always somebody that I've always looked up to in this area as far as craft beer is concerned. Whenever he reached out to me, it was really exciting. I'm really looking forward to learning how he brewed back whenever he started this brewery, and it's the original brew house, which is so different than a lot of these modern brew houses. But he's he did a lot of traditional stuff, and as a newer brewer, those trends aren't towards traditional beers. So it's really exciting to be in here and learning not only from Artie, but also our new brewmaster Bruce, which I'm sure that you'll cover
I figure
in
we'll
the
have
future.
I
but-
figure we'll have you and Bruce on again to talk about some stuff. But like I think about the Appellation name first of all. It says it on the door. But it's like it was Harrisburg's first craft brewery. It was like they took a chance on this place, and 22 years later we're here and still thriving, and the brand has grown and expanded. And so when you look at that and you say, okay, so what? I don't want to ask you the easy question, which is what are you going to do differently about things, because part of it is, well, how do I if I'm new, how do I maintain what's been done so good? But then eventually, I guess you're here for a reason, and the reason here is to bring fresh ideas. So go ahead, talk a little bit about what you think you lend to that.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I think you're correct. I think it's not only bringing new ideas, which Bruce and I think, are both going to do, but it's also a little bit about tightening up our day-to-day procedures and really bringing a consistency to the flagship beers that people have known for 2 decades. We really want to tighten up things procedurally, in our back of house in the brewery, to bring those beers to what they should be, and what people have expected for 22 years. But as far as new ideas, trends have changed in the past
and
5 years.
What might have been a trend is now the norm.
It is. It's a little wonky. Yeah, it's definitely the norm. A lot of people want the kettle sours, the heavily fruited kettle sours, the pastry stouts that are higher in ABV, and then of course the hazy New England IPAs. And that's definitely styles that Bruce and I both plan to bring into ABC, as well as keeping what has kept this brewery going for 22 years alive and well. It's a balance between traditional and the new.
That's right. And that's what people love about it. And it's I know I'm always going to get something. It's like visiting an old friend, but it's also opening a door to meet somebody new. And it's
absolutely.
And that's what life is about. It's about keeping traditions and being in a comfort area, and then occasionally stepping out and finding something new. But otherwise, what are we here for, right?
That's
we're
right.
We're not always learning and exploring new things. So a lot of our listeners, and when I say a lot, I don't know. They don't tell me how many millions are listening to the podcast here, but
it's that many. I don't know.
A lot of them are Mug Club members. A lot of the folks are people who believe in the brand, and so they're excited to. There's a buzz around the brewery about you guys coming in, you and Bruce, and so we look forward to seeing what you guys create. So welcome.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate it, and looking forward to the future here.
Last thing, since we're here at the Winter Warmer Festival, what beers is there's actually an Appellation table, which is different because typically we're in the brew pub, so anything that's on tap is available, along with all the visiting brewers. But you guys actually set up a table. I think it gets you guys face to face with folks. Is that the point? And then you offer some. What are you offering?
Yeah, so that was actually the idea behind the whole thing. Is we are the host brewery, but if we don't have our own setup and our own table, then are we really a part of it, or are we just the host? So we wanted to make sure that we were an actual part of the festival itself, and also we are debuting 2 beers that Bruce and I had the hand in making. Whether it was, so we actually have the Mangalorian. It's our new.
That's a great
mango.
name.
Yeah, it is a great name. I can't believe that we actually were able to get that approved already, and I'm excited for it.
Cool.
But yeah, so that's going to be that's a kettle sour that is heavily fruited with mango, and then we have a new fresh batch of our Peregrine Pilsner that we did. So we wanted to kind of showcase, again, what we were talking about, a new style, and then our rendition of one of ABC's traditional flagships. So,
all right. Well, I'm looking for. I can't try it all here on the podcast because I said earlier, the podcast will not get done if all I'm doing is drink. But I will say cheers to you.
Yep. Cheers.
All right. And I'm going to let you get back to work here at the beer festival and meet some of the people. I know that again, we're excited to have you here and see what the future holds. So once again, Cliff, welcome. and we look forward to talking to you again on the podcast.
Hey, thank you very much. I really appreciate your time.
All right, so from that, we're going to wrap it up. I see that the VIP session here is ending, and the masses are starting to come in. So it's going to get a little bit louder. It's not going to lend itself to recording too much longer. So I want to thank all of our guests here today at the second Winter Warmer Festival here at Appalachian Brewing Company. I want to thank Artie Tafoya for setting everything up here on stage. And until next time, if you need any more information on Appalachian Brewing Company, it's abcbrew.com. For the podcast, I'm Mike Parker, and we'll see you next time.